While Anna declares she is the confidence queen, I'm very skeptical of that claim. She loves to clap back at the, quote, haters, even when they are right. We go through the list of topics and hobbies Anna identifies with and claims to be passionate about to see whether or not these claims actually hold up. The only thing I really think Anna is truly, truly passionate about is traveling, as she does travel a lot and goes out and, okay, she doesn't always enjoy her experiences.
I just really hate my body right now.
But she at least experiences these places, unlike others who claim the same. Anna isn't really passionate about fashion, hiking, weightlifting, or really anything lifestyle related. What she is really passionate about is making sure she can control how others perceive her and give her attention, as well as money, of course. She loves getting compliments about her clothes being stylish, defying expectations by being obese and flying on an airplane, quote, trying even though the odds are against her, and that she's strong as fuck. The fact of the matter is, people aren't always going to communicate with you the way you want them to. And when you are posting to public spaces, people aren't always going to tell you what you want to hear. Before we go any further, I want to show a clip that I think really shows how people who truly care about their craft and passion really think. It is a clip from Adam Savage's Tested, where he wears a really cool suit of armor his friend Chris Gildman had made by Robert McPherson. Chris makes a statement here regarding the history behind the suit that I think already really shows what I'm talking about. He says, quote, "The more you know about a subject, the more you get refined to what's possible." He then talks about the process of deciding an exact style of suit with Robert, when he says something I found very profound and I think is very applicable to our subject of conversation.
So I was looking at a variety of armors, and he said, he was getting a little frustrated because I thought, well, I like the helmet of this, and I like this, and I like that. And I love this quote. He goes, "You should pick a style and revel in it."
What a great phrase.
It is perfect because
he comes from a source of knowledge, knowing that once you understand why all those pieces are together, you will understand the style. Oh, that's great.
Oftentimes, behavior like that is seen as a sort of gatekeeping. I mean, anyone can wear a helmet from one style and the body of another if they want to, right? Well, I mean, yeah, but not if you actually truly care about the craft. When you learn about the history, context, technology, innovation, and symbolism behind why styles are the way they are, then you start to appreciate them as a whole. When you respect something, you don't want to bastardize it or disrespect those who actually laid the groundwork. For those who aren't passionate about said subject, it isn't that deep. However, if you are who you say you are, then it really is that deep. You can try to impersonate your way through it as much as you want, but those who really know will be able to call you out on your bullshit. It isn't just about personal taste, but appreciating the fact that these things have bigger meanings than it may first seem behind them. People care deeply about these things, and they put a lot of time and effort into them. And so it is deeply offensive when someone like Anna pretends to be as passionate as Anna claims to be, while blatantly disrespecting it by not taking the time or energy to learn anything correctly before, branching out into her own style. I am not saying you cannot step outside the lines, but you do need to know the rules to be able to break them, as they say. The first thing we will look at is her supposed passion for fashion and what it really reveals about herself. Fashion has a very long history that I am not going to go into any depth about. Fashion also exists in every culture, and so because both Anna and I are white women in America, I'm going to focus on women's fashion history in Western Europe and the United States from 1500 onward. During this time is also when women started wearing garments specifically to support their chests and torso. In the following centuries, we see lots of changes in what is trending at the time in regards to fashion. One thing we see changing dramatically is body shape. People during these periods did not expect a clothed woman to look like how they are undressed. Even though to us these shapes may seem provocative, in reality it was used as a sort of modesty shield of sorts, on top of being also supportive. In some cases, it was alluring, knowing that no one really knew what they looked like. Garments are made with intention and are supposed to hit and wear on the body in a specific way. Before mass-produced clothing was a thing, each piece of clothing was made to order. You couldn't just walk into a shop and expect to see a fully done garment you can take home. Anna constantly wears clothing that does not fit her correctly. It's not just about Anna being a fat woman and tight clothing. If a skinny woman also wore clothes that fit the way that Anna would, I would feel the same way. When people tell Anna things do not fit, she tells them they are wrong because she likes the way they look on her body. Even when her bra strap disappears into the rolls of her body, or her literal butt cheek is hanging out of the bottom of her skirt, she insists we are the foolish ones. When Anna says stuff like this, it is clear she isn't truly passionate or knowledgeable about fashion. Anna wants to feel good, and to her, that means squeezing into the smallest size possible. Many companies will say how a garment is supposed to fit along with photos on models with the model's measurements and what they are wearing. Now, Anna is the one who spends her money on the clothes, and so she can wear whatever she wants, and it's her prerogative to wear ill-fitting clothing out and about. For most pieces of clothing, as long as Anna can fit into it, meaning as long as the garment actually is able to get on her, then she'll wear it. For some items, she admits that the garment doesn't fit correctly, even though she can fully put it on, but only if she can explain it via her tall stature of 5'10", because it could never be anything else, right? As someone who used to chronically squeeze into the smallest size I could, I do not think that the lack of size range is the actual reason why Anna wears such tight clothing. It does not help that for lots of companies she is too big to wear even the biggest size correctly. But she also doesn't always choose the biggest size when it's available, and she'll still wear it as if it works and is fitting her correctly. This was no more apparent than when she received the wrong size in a Gap crew neck. She originally ordered an extra large, but received a medium. And instead of returning it and getting the correct size, she just cut the neckline off so that it, quote, didn't choke her anymore. Not only did Anna not originally order the biggest size available, well, allegedly, but when she received a crew neck two sizes smaller than what she thought was her size, the third smallest size available, she kept it. In what world would Anna fit into the third smallest size of a non-plus size clothing brand or non-plus size garment? Is Anna's body able to fit into the garment? Yes. However, on Anna, it is tight and hits above the hip. According to Gap, the ones who designed the crew neck, this garment is supposed to fit oversized and hit below the hip. Now again, Anna can wear her questionably fashionable medium Gap cut-off crew neck out and about all she wants to, but that does not mean that it fits. Also, I guess this is an opinion. If you have skin, whether there's fat in it or not, hanging out of your clothes, then you don't have enough fabric on, no matter if you are thick or thin. Okay? You need to size up, please. And this is definitely not an opinion, but if your belly button is covered, then you are nowhere close to low rise. Okay? Belly button covered is high rise. Mid rise is belly button uncovered. That's still not low rise. Anyways, if Anna was really as into fashion as she says she is, then she would know all of this. Not only would she know all of this, but she would hold importance to that fact. She never takes into account her body shape with the silhouette of the garment, which leaves her trashing perfectly fine pieces. Anna does not even know where her actual waistline is, and that says a lot about how she can judge the fit of a garment. On top of this, she does not even attempt to accurately portray any fashion style or a culture's traditional fashion. This showed up most recently in her Halloween costume, where she went as a quote Viking princess. Definitely a Viking, but questionable on the princess part, I guess. Look, there are ways to personalize cultural attire to fit your personal tastes and aesthetics, but what Anna did was not one of them. Yes, these people aren't alive today, but their descendants are, and they were real people who took what they did very, very seriously. Imagine Anna going up to an actual Viking and insisting she's dressed up just like one of them. That would be super offensive and embarrassing, wouldn't it? She should feel that same way no matter if it is in front of those who actually know, aka the Vikings, or not. Many fashion styles have deep history behind them, and each part is there for a reason. It is more than just the looks. You can personally not like a specific style, yet appreciate the art behind it. Anna does none of that because she does not respect fashion. For someone so into fashion with so much free time and resources, she could either tailor every piece she buys to fit correctly, or, even better, she could make her own clothes. When I came to the realization that it is silly of me to think that every piece I try on from a designer or manufacturer who didn't make it for my body was going to work, whether it be that no size really fits it correctly or no shape of the garment doesn't really work for my body, I realized that I really shouldn't hold any weight to whether or not a garment fits correctly. Instead, I learned how to do a basic hand stitch, not only so that I could tailor my own clothes easily, but also so that I could easily repair any rips or holes that arise in my garments. I am not in a situation where I can make my own clothes for just so many reasons. So, being able to buy pre made garments that I can modify to work for my body and its specific shape, I have found to be pretty liberating. I don't have to buy new clothes right away if my body changes. I don't have to either throw away a piece with small rips or wear anything out with small rips. And I can still get those mass produced pieces that otherwise wouldn't be able to work or fit well for my body. In my humble opinion, if Anna really wanted to be the plus size fashion icon she claims to be, then she would either stop begging corporations to, quote, be more inclusive, and she would either show her tailoring her clothes and how easy and effective a simple hand stitch tailor really is, learn and then teach others how to make their own clothes so that she and others don't have to depend on corporations to be inclusive, or she would show her supporting others who can either tailor clothes for you or who can make custom garments. In my opinion, if she actually knew anything about fashion, then she would also highlight how for centuries the way women looked out in public was not expected for her to look like with her clothes off at all. I may be biased, but as someone who has bigger chest pieces, I have an interest in how women of the past would support said chest pieces. Since the Middle Ages, either stays or corsets would be used for what we use bras for today. These garments, however, did a little more than just support the boobies. They also slightly changed the shape of your body. Unlike what you may think, ladies did not go about their day for centuries with extreme discomfort. The way a corset works depends on the corset shape, material, and also your body. For people with little body fat, the corset would be used more like a base to add on to. The boning in corsets allowed for layers to be worn without much fatigue to the wearer, as the corset would take most of the force. For people with more fat on them, you wouldn't need to necessarily add any more padding, but instead just refine the shape that the fat lays on. By redirecting the fat to areas that they want to be more full, you can then reduce other areas without any significant discomfort. I also want to be very clear that boning in corsets can be as flexible or as stiff as the wearer wants. For flexibility, cords were used as structure, and for more stiffness, whalebones or even flexible steel was used. If I were Anna with Anna's values, and also with the knowledge I do have on fashion history and corsets, I would have a bunch of custom made corsets and I would show the benefits it can have on a bigger body when worn correctly, of course. It can help support your torso so that you don't have to worry as much about pain while being active. Anna already wears compression, and so, of course, it can be easily worn over top of this without any tactile discomfort. It will also make wearing clothes much easier as they will slip right on and sit well since you already have a nice base to work off of. However, I think there is a more powerful message she could send to her audience only if she knew fashion like she says she does. Anna's insistence on wearing sizes too small shows that she is very insecure of her own body. I can remember during puberty how deeply insecure I was. While all my friends were size smalls, I was a size medium and even sometimes a large. The fact that I wasn't like everybody else deeply affected how I felt about myself. I remember going to PacSun to buy jeans, and even the biggest sizes jeans they had in stock were a little too tight. Because I held so much importance towards being hip and trendy like all of my peers, I bought 2 pairs of jeans that were too tight. I didn't wear them much because they were uncomfortable and they didn't really do much for me since they didn't fit well. Not knowing how they're supposed to fit, I look back and I cringe. They're supposed to be mom style jeans and they fit me snug on my thighs, just like how Anna looks in jeans that are supposed to fit baggy as well. Jeans are one of the few garments that you can reliably buy mass produced products that will fit you perfectly. This is because of a few reasons. The first is that you can find jeans with both waist and leg measurements that range a good bit. Many waist measurements will have multiple lengths of the pant, which means you won't have to tailor them yourself. Another reason is that there are countless styles of jeans, which means you can find a shape that matches your body. Anna is a curvy girl, and she knows that, yet she still insists that companies don't think of plus size women when making jeans. Many women Anna's size are not nearly as curvy as Anna, and Anna should know that considering that she has a condition that makes fat store more proportionately on her thighs as compared to most women. Of course, the clothes will look good on the models who show off the clothing. Unless they have your body shape, then you need to think a little bit about it if the garment would look good on you. I'm not making this video because I think it will change Anna's behavior. Even if Anna somehow sees this, I do not think it will change anything. I want others to know that just because you see Anna looking like a fool doesn't mean you have to, or that it's appropriate to look like a fool, to be quite honest. Anna makes her content not because it is about making others feel good, but only about making herself feel good. Anything she says in her videos are to make her feel good, even at the expense of her own dignity. She shows herself in basically no fabric and also shows when clothes don't fit her, and also shows how it makes her feel super duper sad. She wears no fabric because there are weirdos who will comment on her body, and she shows the clothes not fitting and her mood changes because of sympathy baiting and also to look relatable. She wants to feel included, and when companies do not pander to her exactly, she thinks it's to exclude her. She thinks the fashion industry wants women Anna's size and age to cover up and wear dark colors. In reality, most women Anna's size and age like to cover up and wear more neutral colors, and honestly, it is more an age thing than a size thing. Anna calls herself a girl, which speaks to how she views herself. She is just going through life and everybody is trying to pull her down. Anna is the only person pulling herself down, but she is too busy throwing shade at the haters to see this.
Okay, so I wanted to have a more in-depth look at how the way that Anna wears her clothes affects how the silhouette of her body looks and how it changes the proportions of her body, seemingly. So here I have these American Eagle jeans they're curvy, super high-waisted flare jeans. And this model, I don't remember exactly, but she's about the same height as Anna. Obviously not the same weight, but these are curvy jeans. They're supposed to be super high-waisted. They're flare, and they even have, extra 3 inches in the hip and the thigh. So the jeans I'm going to be comparing them to that Anna's wearing are either the Pop Flex or the Fabletics. I don't really know the difference between the two, so sorry, but you'll see which ones they are. Um, and so they're not the exact same, but I couldn't use those jeans exactly because all of the photos of the models on the website were in dynamic poses, and it was not useful for what I'm trying to do. So these are the jeans, or this is the reference photo I'm using for Anna. It's the video where her fly is not down, but just broken. She broke the fly or the lining or something. I don't really know. But right, this is how she normally wears her jeans. That's where she likes her jeans to hit. And yeah, I went into Procreate, and what I did is I used each photo as a reference to alter the garments to hit at the same points on each other. You'll see what I mean. So you can see here that I brought Anna's shirt down. Now, this doesn't even really change where the jeans like hit. It just changes the fact, like she could just untuck her shirt and get this same result, right? But you can see how different that looks, between the two, right? But then when I do the opposite and I bring the model's waistline up to where Anna likes to wear her waistline, then it looks like this, right? Which again, people do wear jeans that are super duper high waisted, right? And so I'm basing this off of the fact that Anna's belly button is being completely, like, fully covered by a long shot. Because remember, she thinks that her belly button almost showing is sort of low rise, even though for most people, belly button covered is high rise. And then below that is usually mid rise, if not even still sometimes high rise. But that's besides the point. You can see how weird the model's proportions look, right? I mean, it's peculiar. And so then I wanted to see kind of more modularly the silhouettes that Anna achieves with her clothes. And so you can see the reference photos in the middle. And obviously this photo is edited and whatever, but all of her photos are edited, unfortunately. And it's fine. That's not really what we're looking for. We're more looking for the proportions rather than like the actual real, size. So the one on the right is her silhouette based on how she likes to wear her clothes, right? So if she really, her waist is really where she says it is, then this is how her, upper body compared to her lower body is, right? And you can see how unproportionate it looks, right? Her torso looks so short compared to her legs, right? And she does have long legs, but they're not that long, I'll tell you that. And then the one on the left is her silhouette based on where I think her like natural waist sits. And obviously, again, this photo is edited, so it's not really exact, but I tried to line it up as best I could to where her belly button is. And you can see how much more proportionate and natural it looks, right? I mean, I this is what I mean when I say that she's not doing herself a service. Okay? So then what I did was I traced dresses based on, or yeah, I made a mock-up of a dress, I should say, based on where the waistline should hit. So what I did was I did an outline of her body until that waist on, depending on which one we're looking at. And then from that waist, I, went more out like a skirt. And so you can see the one on the right it looks much more poofy. And that's because the waistline starts up so much higher, right? And so then you're poofing out much before the biggest area of your body, right? Whereas the one on the left looks a lot more natural and a lot, in my opinion at least, more flattering. And then finally, I thought it would be interesting to look at how where the belt sits changes things. Um, and so, again, this one's more of like an opinion thing. I think it looks best on the natural waistline. Or yeah, I don't know if I don't know if natural is the right word, but on her actual waistline, I think it looks much better. But again, that's my opinion. That's all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you agree that these, if I'm out of line, does the way that Anna dresses, that silhouette look better? Does it not? I don't know. But yeah, bye.